Sometimes in philosophy, an idea isn't just an influence, it's a full-on architectural plan. And that's exactly what we're looking at today. We're going to trace one of the most incredible intellectual handoffs in history, how Immanuel Kant literally designed the blueprint that Arthur Schopenhauer used to build his entire vision of the world. So let's just jump right in with the question that gets to the heart of everything, that world you see right now. I mean, the screen you're looking at, the room you're sitting in, is any of it really out there? Or is it, at its core, just a mental picture, a huge, detailed construction happening entirely inside your head?
Well, that second option, that's exactly what Arthur Schopenhauer argued. His whole big idea, the world as representation, is built on this one shocking claim, that the reality you experience isn't out there at all. It's a construction of your own mind, a huge, intricate picture painted by your own intellect.
Now, an idea that big, that revolutionary, it doesn't just pop into existence. And it didn't. Schopenhauer wasn't just freestyling here. He was working off a detailed blueprint, a whole foundational framework designed by the philosophical giant who came before him, Immanuel Kant. And that's what this is all about. We're going to show that Schopenhauer's representation isn't just, inspired by Kant. It is structurally built, piece by piece, from Kant's original design. Okay, so here's the plan. We're going to break down Kant's blueprint into three key pillars: the active mind, the mind's architecture, and his idea of two separate realities. Then we'll see exactly how Schopenhauer put it all together to build his representation. Let's get into it.
All right, first up, Pillar 1, the active mind, or as I like to think of it, the mind as an operating system. This is the absolute foundation of Kant's blueprint, and honestly, it changes everything.
So for centuries, the basic idea in philosophy was that your mind is kind of like a blank slate, or maybe a mirror. It just passively sits there, and the world imprints itself on it. Simple, right? Well, Kant comes along and just flips the whole table over. He says, nope, the mind isn't passive at all. It's an active agent. It doesn't just receive reality, it actively shapes and structures the very reality it perceives.
And look, this isn't a minor tweak. This one insight is often called Kant's greatest accomplishment. I mean, think about it. The idea that the mind isn't a passive observer, but an active participant in creating reality. That's the master switch. It powers up his entire philosophical system, and, as we'll see, Schopenhauer's too.
Okay, here's a really helpful way to think about this. Picture your mind as the operating system for your entire conscious experience. Now, it's not a perfect analogy, but it works. Like an OS, it provides the basic framework for everything you perceive. You've got all this raw, messy data flooding in from your senses, right? It's chaos. But it's your mind, this operating system, that takes all that chaos, processes it, and presents it to you as the coherent, stable world you see around you.
So, if the mind is the OS, then what's the software? That brings us right to Pillar 2, the mind's architecture. Let's call it the software of reality. Okay, so this is where it gets really wild. Kant says that three things we take for granted as being part of the world, space, time, and causality, are not out there at all. They're not properties of the universe. They are built-in features of our mind. They're like the pre-installed software, the fundamental lenses we can't take off, through which we experience absolutely everything.
Exactly. As the thinking goes, these are not properties of the objective world. Instead, they are the fundamental structures of our intellect. So every time you see something across the room, or watch time pass, or see one billiard ball hit another, you're not actually observing the external world. You're observing the rules of your own mind being projected onto that world. It's a heavy concept for sure. And this whole process, this software package, has a fancy name, the principium individualis. Basically, it just means the principle of individuality. Think of it as the function in our mental operating system that uses space, time, and causality to take that raw sensory chaos and carve it up into individual things. It's the reason you see a distinct cup on a distinct table next to a distinct chair, instead of just one big, messy smear of color and sensation.
Okay, so think about the implications here. If our mind is actively building the world we see, what does that mean for the real world? Well, it leads straight to Pillar 3, the idea that there are actually two separate realities, appearance versus the thing in itself.
So, on the one hand, you've got the phenomenal world. That's the world of appearance. It's the user interface our mental OS creates for us, structured by space, time, and causality. It's the only reality we can ever directly know. But then, there's the noumenal world.
This is the world as it really is, completely independent of our minds. The raw data, you could say. Kant called this the thing in itself, and here's the kicker. He said we can never know it directly. There's a permanent firewall.
And this is where Schopenhauer gets really excited. He looks at Kant's phenomenal world, this world of appearances, and he doesn't just accept it. He doubles down. He says, yes, it's an illusory mental picture. To give it some extra flair, he borrows a concept from Hindu philosophy and calls it the veil of Maya, a beautiful, intricate, but ultimately deceptive illusion that hides what's really going on.
Okay, it's time for the final assembly. Let's take these 3 pillars from Kant's blueprint and watch how Schopenhauer snaps them together to build his world as representation.
So, let's put it together. Step 1. Pillar 1. We start with Kant's idea that your mind is an active operating system, not a passive mirror. It builds the world. Step 2. Pillar 2. How does it build it? It uses its own built-in software, space, time, and causality, to take all that raw input and organize it into a world of separate, individual things.
And what's the final product of this process? Well, Kant called it the phenomenal world, the world of appearance. Schopenhauer takes that entire concept, the whole shebang, and just rebrands it. He calls it the representation. That's it. It's the exact same structure.
So here's the big takeaway. The entire world of individual objects you experience, the trees, the cars, the people, even your own body, is, according to Schopenhauer, just a grand illusion. A massive, incredibly convincing illusion that is structured from the ground up by the unchangeable architecture of your own mind. He didn't just borrow from Kant. He took Kant's user interface and called it reality.
Which leaves us with one last, kind of haunting question to think about. If the world you're seeing, hearing, and touching right now is built according to a blueprint inside your own head, then what is the blueprint for? What raw material is it shaping? And what, if anything, is really out there, hiding behind that veil of Maya?